The voice came from Dongshin, who had just shown great caution towards Wang Lin. I also suggest that we avoid provoking Wang Lin before Elder Nato gives any instructions. This person is well known, since he has come to visit. If we... The last speaker was a middle-aged man. Frowning, he spoke slowly. The Unity sect of 5 elements, Star has never feared anyone. So what if Wang Lin has a great reputation? Even if he were a dragon, he'd have to lie low in our 5 elements Star. The middle-aged woman's sharp voice rang out. Stop arguing. I've already made my decision. Besides, Elder Nato may already know about this. Since he hasn't stopped it, let us see what Wang Lin has to offer. The black-robed elder, with a mole under his right eye, waved his sleeve, and a cold voice echoed. As he flicked his sleeve, the air between the 4 distorted immediately, forming a mirror. In that mirror, there appeared Wang Lin, walking within 5 interlocking rings. At the same time, on the 9th floor of the towering spire, 2 men sat cross-legged. Both were middle-aged. One wore a multicolored robe, his expression calm, and strange light flickered in his eyes as he looked up at the sky outside the tower. If Wang Lin were there, he would immediately recognize the man as Nato, whom he had met years ago on Vermilion Bird Star. A year had passed, but Nato showed no signs of aging. He was just like he had been back then. Looking up at the sky, Nato smiled. Back then, he was just a small nascent soul cultivator. In the past 1,000 years, he has grown to this height. Even I am no match for him now. I'm no match for him either, but what does it matter? After all, we are only their descendants. As long as we guard this place, it will be enough. The man sitting opposite Nato, wearing purple robes and with a handsome appearance, smiled as he spoke. If enemies really do come, there's no need for us to act. Just one of the ancestors from the upper floors could resolve everything. But tell me, do you think Wang Lin can escape the 5 elements grand formation? Perhaps he can escape the 5 elements, but under the 9 revolutions, he should never make it past the 3rd rotation. This formation was laid down by 9 ancestors at the same time. Even though many years have passed, it is no ordinary formation to break through. I have a rough idea of Wang Lin's cultivation level. He is only at the mid-ethereal stage. Nato laughed. Then let's just watch the show. The middle-aged man also smiled, looking at the sky outside the tower, his voice calm. Outside 5 elements Star, Wang Lin remained calm, walking step by step through the 5 intersecting rings. The booming sounds from the rings echoed in his ears, but none of them harmed him in the slightest. With his Tao ancient physique, how could these divine techniques break through? As he advanced, the power of the 5 elements continually shifted around him. At times, flames surged, at times sandstorms raged, and angry seas engulfed the sky, accompanied by the shrill screeches of gold. There were even wood spirits growling as they pounced. Wang Lin's steps never faltered. He had come fully prepared. Even if this place was a dragon's den or a tiger's lair, he would barge in. There was a hidden variable here, aside from Tian Yunzi, and Wang Lin had no idea how powerful this hidden force was. This made the search for the 3rd soul even more difficult. His purpose for coming here was to unveil this hidden force. He needed to understand just how strong the power hidden here was. Only then could Wang Lin feel at ease. He didn't arrogantly believe he could destroy this force, but he was confident that, no matter how strong the opponent was, if he wanted to leave, no one would dare stop him. Without that confidence, he would never have dared to enter this place alone. As he advanced, the 5 elements' divine techniques continued to roar and collapse around him. After Wang Lin took his 14th step, he entered the center of the 5 intersecting rings. Inside, the light was dazzling, blinding. The power of the 5 elements rumbled and shifted. The energy surrounding Wang Lin suddenly transformed into 5 elements earth power. Everything he had faced before was merely the outer layer. Now he was about to confront the first formation of the 5 elements array, the earth soil formation. As Wang Lin stepped into the center of the 5 elements halo, the earth soil formation within the array was activated. The moment this happened, his vision blurred, and it felt as though he had entered another world. In this world, there was only earth, no sky. Below him was boundless earth, and when he looked up, what should have been the sky was another upside-down earth. Mud particles fell from the inverted earth above, like raindrops, and ahead, a storm howled. 9 storms, not just one, surrounded Wang Lin, their winds howling as they connected the upper and lower lands, shaking the ground with their deafening sound, sending endless echoes throughout the area. At the same time, the 9 storms charging forward were incredibly fast, almost arriving in an instant. They transformed into 9 massive human faces made of earth and sand, roaring as they rushed toward Wang Lin from 1,000 feet away. The ground beneath Wang Lin shook violently. Layers of earth rolled back, twisting and squirming like the ocean, as if strange, fierce beasts were hidden within. The deafening roar battered Wang Lin's ears, yet his expression remained calm, coldly observing everything. These mere 5 elements formation spirits. I don't even consider them. Wang Lin stepped forward, instantly closing the distance to one of the faces. As it roared and surged toward him, he clenched his right fist and struck forward. With a thunderous boom, the sand face collapsed. As the earth scattered around him, Wang Lin swiftly turned, closing the gap to the second face and throwing another punch. The booming continued as Wang Lin took 9 steps, delivering 9 punches. The 9 faces shattered, but at that moment, the land above them began to twist rapidly, violently compressing downward. At the same time, the earth below began to rise in response to the tremors. In the blink of an eye, the 2 massive land masses, like continents, converged with a loud crash, engulfing Wang Lin's figure. Within the 5 Elements Star Tower, the 4 black-robed elders focused intently on the large mirror. As they watched the scene unfold, the elder in black robes burst into laughter. The Earth-Soil formation is not so easily broken. Wang Lin is a fool to think otherwise. Even if he's at the 3rd step, breaking this formation will not be easy. That's right. This is the 2nd transformation of the Earth-Soil formation. There are still 7 more to come. I bet that even if Wang Lin breaks through, he will be seriously injured. The middle-aged woman's voice was sharp, her eyes filled with hatred and delight as she stared at Wang Lin in the mirror. Wang Lin, you are acquainted with Xun'er. Today, you will pay the price for that heartless person. The other 2 paused, their brows furrowing as they exchanged glances. Something felt off. It seemed too easy. Suddenly, time in the mirror shifted with a deafening change, instantly interrupting the laughter of the black-robed elder and the middle-aged woman. As they saw what had happened, their expressions changed drastically. Within the mirror, the land that had converged, which had sealed Wang Lin completely, had no gaps. Yet now, it emitted a thunderous roar, rhythmic like someone within was calmly breaking through, 1 punch at a time. Cracks appeared across the land, increasing in number until, in the final instant, it collapsed, shattering apart. Wang Lin stepped out from the broken earth without a flicker of emotion on his face. This alone did not shock the black-robed man or the middle-aged woman. They gasped in horror as they saw Wang Lin raise his right hand. He performed some kind of divine technique, and suddenly, the shattered earth exploded into countless particles of sand, rushing toward him. As they circled around him, they mysteriously shrank and gathered into the palm of his right hand. It condensed into a small clump of earth. This small clump of earth radiated an intense spiritual energy. This was the formation spirit of the 5 elements, Earth-Soil formation. The 4 elders fell silent. The black-robed elder sucked in a breath, his eyes wide in shock as he stared at Wang Lin's right hand in the mirror. He saw the clump of earth vanish and Wang Lin raise his head, his gaze piercing straight toward them. The elder instinctively gasped. Not only him, but the middle-aged woman and the other 2 also felt a chill as they saw Wang Lin's eyes sweep over them. They instinctively recoiled. He couldn't possibly know where we are. We're outside the formation. He actually took the earth spirit. On the 10th floor of the tower, NATO's gaze remained fixed on the sky outside the tower. Gradually, his brow furrowed. If he had only broken the earth formation, it would have been nothing. But to take the earth spirit, his reputation is well-deserved. He is indeed powerful, the middle-aged man opposite NATO murmured. No worries. There are still 4 more trials of the 5 elements, and after that, the 9 revolutions power. Let's see how he handles it. NATO's eyes gleamed coldly. He had no personal connection with Wang Lin, and their past encounter had long faded over the past 1,000 years. At this moment, no one within the abode realm noticed the sudden appearance of a blood-red patch in the sky of the Kungsu star domain. It flickered for a moment before coalescing into a young man with black hair. Dressed in a black robe, the young man surveyed his surroundings briefly before his gaze fell far off, his face breaking into a wide smile. He's over there. Well, I don't know this boy's nature, but I'll follow and see. Wang Lin stood deep within the dazzling halo, his expression unchanged. In the palm of his right hand, a small clump of wriggling sand was continuously shifting and changing shape, transforming into various forms. It tried to break free from Wang Lin's hand, but with a tight grip, the sand instantly crumbled, unable to reform, and dissipated within his palm. This earth sand was formed from the 5 elements earth attribute, subtly pointing to its origin. After Wang Lin collected it, it now existed in his storage space as 2 separate clumps of sand. One of them came from Tianyunzi. Impressive, indeed, is the arrival of a person from the immortal firmament continent. What a remarkable touch on this formation. To have solidified the spirit of the 5 elements earth here and integrated it into the formation. If this spirit continues to grow over tens of thousands of years, it might even become a 5 elements earth spirit body at the 3rd stage. Wang Lin's gaze flickered as he looked toward the 5 elements formation, his eyes burning with intensity. Wang Lin's interest in this formation deepened. In the 5 elements origin, I already possess the fire origin. If I could acquire the remaining 4, my cultivation would surely surge. And if the 5 elements truly merge, who knows what new origin might be born. A smile appeared on Wang Lin's lips as he looked at the surrounding 5 elements halos, his grin growing brighter. When it came to enemies, especially those outside the abode realm with malicious intent, Wang Lin would never abide by any principles of righteousness. Strength was everything. If the opponent could leave Wang Lin with any strength, that would be one thing. But if not, then these outsiders in Wang Lin's home were nothing but thieves. And against thieves, Wang Lin would be a greater thief. After taking the earth spirit, Wang Lin took a step forward. In the instant he moved, a sea of flames erupted before him. This sea of fire stretched across the heavens and earth. To Wang Lin's eyes, the sky and ground were both red, the color of flames. The sky was burning, and the earth was burning. The air here was distorted, swirling with ripples of 5 elements energy, caused by the terrifying high temperature. Under this extreme heat, there was no sign of life, only fire. The flames crackled as they roared, filling Wang Lin's ears. But they had no effect on him. In fact, within this 5 elements fire formation, Wang Lin actually felt more comfortable than outside. Within the 5 elements star, in the lower section of the dark tower, the black-robed elder and the middle-aged woman, along with 2 others, had just barely suppressed their earlier shock. With grave expressions, they focused on the enormous mirror in the center, where Wang Lin's figure was engulfed in flames. The power of the 5 elements fire spirit, though similar to that of the earth formation, is far more ferocious. Flames alone can burn the bodies and souls of any cultivator. Though Wang Lin has taken the earth spirit, within this 5 elements fire formation, he will not have it easy. The black-robed elder murmured, not knowing that Wang Lin already possessed the fire origin in his own foundation. He spoke, seemingly to the others, but as if talking to himself. It wasn't their fault for being uninformed. The people of the 5 elements star had long sealed off internal information, rarely venturing out. Even what they knew about Wang Lin's identity and cultivation came through accidental sources, outworld cultivators who had unknowingly passed on some details. However, they had not learned everything, especially Wang Lin's origins. That's right. The earth spirit is relatively gentle, not as fierce as the fire formation. With Wang Lin in this fire formation, I'm certain he'll get hurt. The middle-aged woman's eyes gleamed with malice. She hated Situ Nan, and by extension, all those connected to him. The other 2 remained silent, watching the mirror with deep wariness. They still had some reason left, so they refrained from speaking further. Within the 5 elements fire formation, the flames surged to the sky. The moment Wang Lin stepped in, the fire sea around him roared like a wild beast. It surged like massive waves, rushing from all directions toward Wang Lin. In an instant, the flames surrounded him, and 9 fire kirans emerged from the immense fire sea. These kirans were hundreds of feet tall, entirely made of flame, radiating intense heat. Beneath their feet, several fireballs hovered. The 9 Kirins were fierce and snarling as they charged at Wang Lin from 9 directions. From afar, the scene was astonishing, especially with the towering inferno behind them, adding to their majesty. The cultivators of the 5 Elements Star, aside from the black-robed elders group, had wicked expressions in their eyes. In the sky above the dark tower, a massive vortex spun, reflecting the scene within the 5 Elements Fire formation, where Wang Lin was surrounded by roaring flames. At this moment, it would be no exaggeration to say that he was the center of attention. Under the enormous vortex, all the cultivators of the Unity sect who had emerged from the tower raised their heads to look. I want to see how he resists. This time, he will definitely be injured. The elder in the black robe clenched his fists, staring at the mirror before him, his voice laced with malice. But at that moment, the elder's face suddenly changed. In the instant his expression shifted, the middle-aged woman beside him let out a sharp, shrill scream. This is impossible. Immediately following, all the cultivators of the Unity sect outside the tower who witnessed the scene inside the sky vortex were left in stunned silence, their expressions filled with shock. Within the 5 Elements Fire formation, Wang Lin remained calm, coldly watching the 9 heads of the fire Kirins charging toward him. As they approached within 10 feet, they all stopped in their tracks, their eyes filled with confusion. Then, they abruptly shook their heads and, to everyone's surprise, knelt down, emitting soft whining sounds. Their appearance no longer resembled that of Kirins, but rather that of kittens. As they knelt, their expressions showed joy, as if they had encountered their master. Even the flames trailing behind them now danced and swirled around Wang Lin, and as he raised his right hand and pressed it downward, the entire 5 Elements Fire formation erupted with a deafening roar. In that roar, all the flames in the world seemed to converge wildly together. In an instant, aside from Wang Lin and the 9 Kirins, all the flames condensed in front of Wang Lin, transforming into a colossal flame giant thousands of feet tall. This giant wore a fiery armor and a cloak of flames. Its massive form exuded strength, its entire body was made of burning flames, and even its hair was composed of fire. Upon the giant's appearance, it immediately knelt before Wang Lin, placing its hands over its chest. Its face, devoid of expression, now revealed a fervent worship. What is happening? The 5 Elements Fire Spirit. The 5 Elements Fire Spirit is actually bowing to him. The elder in the black robe inside the tower immediately turned pale, staring at the scene before him, his mind blank. The middle-aged woman beside him also turned ghostly white. She opened her mouth, her lips moving, but no words came out. Her gaze fixed on the image of Wang Lin in the mirror, filled with an overwhelming fear that she could not shake. It wasn't just them who were stunned. All the cultivators outside the tower, one by one, were frozen, staring in dead silence at the scene inside the sky vortex. If Wang Lin's subjugation of the Earth Soil Spirit had only shocked them, witnessing the 5 Elements Fire Spirit actually worshipping Wang Lin was beyond their comprehension. And throughout it all, Wang Lin had not uttered a single word, nor used any divine technique. He merely stood there as if he were a king in his own domain. With a single glance, he made all the inhabitants of this land kneel before him. This was beyond their imagination, surpassing their understanding, and it stirred deep fear and unease within them. NATO and the middle-aged man inside the 10th floor of the tower remained silent. NATO's eyelids twitched, his expression gradually darkening. The two exchanged glances and saw caution in each other's eyes. Others might not perceive the hidden meaning, but they could. Fire origin. NATO spoke slowly. And it's reached its ultimate state, becoming the supreme fire origin of the Lord of 10,000 Flames. If it weren't for this, the 5 Elements Fire Spirit, now in human form, would never have bowed, let alone shown such reverence. The 5 Elements formation can't trap him. But right now, he won't make a move on his own. I think his plan is to absorb the 5 Elements spirits. NATO's eyes gleamed coldly. We should draw it out, or we can't afford to lose the other 5 elements and formations. The middle-aged man took a deep breath, stood up, and looked toward the tower's exterior. Please, ancestral battle armor. The middle-aged man growled, and immediately, a blue light appeared on the 10th floor. It formed around his body, instantly shaping into a water-blue armor that rippled with water waves. The next formation will be the 5 elements water formation. I'll see if I can force him out of the formation and directly into the 9 revolutions. The middle-aged man raised his right hand, and a wave of water appeared in his grasp, turning into a massive spear that he gripped tightly. Help me suppress the formation. I'll go ahead. The middle-aged man, holding the spear, flicked his body forward and vanished into mist, dissipating inside the 10th floor. His right hand pointed ahead. The giant suddenly stood up, unleashing a deafening roar that shook the heavens and the earth in the direction Wang Lin pointed. As the roar echoed, the 9 kneeling Kirins around him rose to their feet, their bodies trembling, and their expressions twisted into fierce, savage snarls as they growled lowly. To the onlookers from the 5-element star, Wang Lin's pointed finger sent a chill down their spines, their minds violently shaking. In their eyes, Wang Lin's finger was directed at them all, through the vortex mirror. In that moment, the roars of the giant and the 9 Kirins seemed to reverberate outward, directed not only at the hundreds of cultivators outside the tower, but also at the 4 black-robed elders inside the tower. Amidst the sudden roar, many of the hundreds of cultivators outside instinctively took a few steps back, their faces pale and their eyes wide with fear. Some weaker cultivators even coughed up blood at the sheer pressure of the roar, retreating far and sitting cross-legged in meditation to calm their trembling bodies. Through their panicked gazes, they saw in the vortex mirror above the sky that Wang Lin stood atop the head of the colossal fire giant, with the 9 Kirins following behind. The giant took a massive step forward and suddenly swung both arms ahead. In that swing, the world of the 5 elements fire formation collapsed with a deafening crash. In the instant of collapse, the scene inside the vortex shifted. To the astonishment of all, the image revealed an endless ocean, its vastness stretching beyond the horizon. The furious waves surged upward, as if preparing to roar toward the heavens. The sky above was darkened, thick clouds gathered, and though there was no thunder or lightning, a fierce storm began to pour down, turning the ocean into a chaotic scene of rain and waves that seemed to shake the very heavens and earth. As the gigantic waves rolled, a middle-aged man dressed in blue armor, holding a long blue spear, with black hair fluttering in the wind, rose slowly from the water. His appearance was strikingly handsome, and beneath his feet, the waves were pushed upward by his presence. Lord Water General of our Unity sect. Lord Water General has been in seclusion for years, but now he appears. Those who intruded must never pass the 5 elements water array. Lord Water General is the complete embodiment of the 5 elements water spirit. With him in the water array, the array's power will be multiplied. That despicable intruder has no chance of survival. As the middle-aged man appeared, the Unity sect cultivators outside the tower suddenly felt a surge of renewed energy, their faces glowing with excitement. An elder who had reached the mid-pure nirvana stage let out a fierce shout to those around him. Fellow sect members of Unity sect on 5-element star, someone dares to provoke us. We've treated him with respect before, but now this person is acting arrogantly and recklessly. Not only did he break into our grand formation, but he also stole our 5 elements second spirit. This man is an outright invader. We cannot let him in. The elder shouted hoarsely, hatred filling his eyes. Indeed, his name is Wang Lin. I've heard of him. He has a notorious reputation outside the 5 elements sect. He is ruthless, leaving a trail of devastation wherever he goes, sparing no one. I even heard recently about a cultivation family on a cultivation star, the Tung family, who were slaughtered by him after he targeted their precious artifact. He killed every member, even the innocent children and elderly, leaving rivers of blood behind. Another cultivator stepped forward and roared in fury. I also know that Elder Nato, who is respected in our sect, once encountered this Wang Lin when he was slaughtering mortals and abusing female cultivators. Elder Nato intervened but didn't kill him, thinking his cultivation was hard-earned. But instead of gratitude, Wang Lin, after gaining strength, came to destroy our Unity sect. This vile, shameless fiend. We cannot allow him to wreak havoc on 5-element star. Such a demonic cultivator is deserving of death. Killing him would save countless lives. Fellow sect members, we may not be as strong as him, but we outnumber him. He is alone, but we are many. As more and more people repeated such words, those who didn't know Wang Lin, or who had never met him, slowly started to believe these accusations. Their eyes, when they looked at the vortex mirror, were filled with rage and hatred. Wang Lin couldn't hear these words, and even if he did, he wouldn't care. At that moment, standing atop the fire giant's head and stepping out of the 5 elements fire formation, he faced the vast ocean before him. The rainstorm poured down, drenching the giant and the 9 Kirins, their bodies making a faint metallic sound as the water soaked them. In the 5 elements, water and fire were incompatible. The 9 Kirins growled in response, their low roars reverberating through the water and fire. In front of Wang Lin, amidst the roaring waves, a middle-aged man with black hair stood, holding a water-blue spear in his right hand, wearing armor. He coldly gazed at Wang Lin. Wang Lin. At the moment Wang Lin's gaze met his, the middle-aged man suddenly let out a loud roar. His body leaped into the air, and beneath him, the sea surged with roaring waves, the ocean rampaging, sending waves crashing towards him. At the same time, deep growls echoed from all around Wang Lin. From massive sea walls, each towering thousands of meters high, suddenly materialized, trapping Wang Lin within. As this happened, the black-haired middle-aged man gave another earth-shattering shout. His body leaped into the air, gripping his spear, and hurled it towards Wang Lin, trapped by the sea walls below. His body followed the path of the spear, becoming a water-blue arc in the sky. Behind him, dark clouds thickened, and the rain poured down in torrents. A rainwater spear appeared behind him, forming a terrifying weapon that sped toward Wang Lin. Everything happened so quickly. Behind Wang Lin, the 9 Kirin roared as they surged forward, surpassing Wang Lin and charging at the spear. But in an instant, they were engulfed by the furious waves. Even Wang Lin's body, along with the fire giant beneath him, was soon drowned in the crashing sea, as the sea walls fell and the middle-aged man's spear swept through the air. At the moment Wang Lin was completely buried beneath the sea, the rainwater spear formed behind the man thrust into the ocean with a mighty roar. The sea roared, waves crashing with immense force, and soon, there was no sign of Wang Lin or the fire giant. Only the black-haired, handsome middle-aged man remained. So this is all your cultivation. In this place, I am the 5 elements water spirit. Within this 5 elements formation, I am a god. Your flame origin is useless here. The middle-aged man's tone was cold and proud as he spoke slowly. As his words echoed, the Unity sect cultivators outside the high tower on the 5 elements star all erupted into deafening cheers. Lord Water General has made his move. Who can resist him? No matter how strong that despicable man's flames are, they will be extinguished before Lord Water General. Lord Water General has already reached the legendary 3rd step in cultivation. How dare this intruder resist him? The cheers echoed through the sky, and in the vortex of the sky mirror, the middle-aged man's expression became even more aloof. He raised his right hand, grasped his spear, and pointed toward the ocean below, growling. Wang Lin, you're only injured. Come out. The moment his words left his mouth, the sea below suddenly erupted with a violent roar. The sea exploded open, surging toward the sky, blocking the Water General's view. Just as the water shot into the sky, the Water General's body trembled, ready to sink. But suddenly, a cold voice came from behind him. I'm here. The Water General's face changed drastically. He tried to turn, but within the water curtain behind him, Wang Lin stepped forward, raised his hand, and struck him. The blow carried a surge of origin power and the destructive aura of Tao Ancient, crashing into his body, causing his organs to collapse, his bones to shatter, and his flesh to separate. The Water General spat out blood as his body was violently thrown outward. Within his body, the sound of cracking filled the air, and his armor immediately developed fine cracks. Yet, it did not shatter. Instead, life energy surged from these cracks, entering the Water General's body, healing his deadly injuries instantly. Wang Lin let out a soft and slowly stepped forward. An intriguing armor. Your cultivation hasn't reached the 3rd step, but when wearing this armor, you can unleash the power of the 3rd step. However, This armor has its drawbacks. Once worn, it controls you, not the other way around. Wang Lin's eyes were bloodshot, and everything before him immediately appeared different. Using the seal origin to transform into his own rules, he could clearly see the secrets of the armor. His words were casual, but when they reached the Water General's ears, they immediately replaced shock with fear. At this moment, outside the five-element star, within the five halos, the black-haired youth from the immortal Aura continent, who had appeared in the Abode realm, Grand Heavenly Venerable Xianluo, stood watching the scene. He remained calm as he observed the unfolding events within the halos. Upon hearing Wang Lin's words, Grand Heavenly Venerable Xianluo's lips curled into a pleased smile. So this boy is named Wang Lin. Not bad, not bad. The Unity Sect's armor path is quite famous among the Immortal clan. For him to see through it, he's quite impressive. Without wearing this armor, he was just a cultivator at the fourth decay of heaven and man. But once he donned it, he would become a supreme power at the third step, able to unleash the armor's full strength. However, the armor was highly peculiar. Once worn, his consciousness would be restricted, and every action of his body would be controlled by the armor. He remembered that his ancestor had said before going into seclusion that even in their sect, this armor was extremely rare. Crafting it was incredibly difficult, and unless someone had achieved great merit or was heading to a perilous place, the sect would never grant it to anyone. Each set of armor was incredibly precious and was never meant to be obtained by outsiders. What caused the Water General's heart to tremble was the fact that this armor had actually cracked open under Wang Lin's palm, causing his entire body to shatter. He was almost killed on the spot. If not for the armor's strange properties, which allowed him to receive life force, he would have already been dead in that instant. What shocked him even more was that Wang Lin, with just one glance, had already seen through the most hidden aspects of the armor and identified its weakness. The sharpness of his vision and insight sent a chill through the Water General's heart. Especially when Wang Lin glanced at him just now, the Water General clearly saw blood-red threads appear in his opponent's pupils. These threads seemed like some form of cosmic law, making the Water General momentarily lose focus. Take off this armor, and I will spare your life. As Wang Lin's voice echoed, the seawater between him and the Water General rose in the air, gradually lifting the water curtain that had blocked the view of the surrounding Unity Sect cultivators. Once they saw everything, especially the Water General's disarray, they all snapped out of their previous joy, falling into a heavy silence. The Water General's face darkened. Wang Lin's words caused his heart to race violently. He gritted his teeth and suppressed the fear rising within him. With a sudden movement, he turned and fled, quickly creating distance between himself and Wang Lin. Wang Lin remained cold, watching the Water General retreat. His gaze sharpened as he saw the Water General raise his right hand, holding a long spear, and his eyes slowly filled with murderous intent. Wang Lin had no mercy for outsiders of the Abode realm, especially thieves. You're seeking death. Wang Lin took a step forward, advancing toward the Water General. The Water General's face turned pale, his eyes wild with madness. He raised his right hand, and the long spear in his grasp was hurled violently toward the sea. The spear transformed into a blinding blue light, shooting into the sea, causing the surface to erupt with thunderous sounds as the water churned violently, forming whirlpools that spread in all directions. With my water spirit body, I condensed the five elements' water power. The Water General spat out a mouthful of blood. With both hands forming seals, he thrust his right hand downward toward the sea. As his hand grabbed the air, the sea exploded with booming waves, as if a gigantic dragon was turning beneath the ocean floor. The ocean itself began to boil, rising slowly as the Water General lifted it upward with his powerful grasp. From a distance, this scene was earth-shattering. The sea was visibly being lifted, rapidly rising into the sky, far away from Wang Lin. At the same time, the Water General spat more blood, his expression filled with exhaustion and struggle. With his left hand, he suddenly reached toward the sky. Clouds part, light annihilate the heavens, rain coalesces into the sea. The Water General roared, his left hand trembling. The dark clouds in the sky shattered, and torrents of rain were forced out, merging into a massive rainstorm. Looking up, It seemed like an entire ocean had appeared in the sky, crashing down toward the sea below. The raised ocean and the falling rain fused, creating an enormous water sphere suspended between heaven and earth. The water sphere, murky but radiating the color of the sea, stretched infinitely, its edges unseen, resembling a miniature water planet. Drop of the universe. The water general gritted his teeth, completing the divine technique passed down by his ancestors. His body immediately withered, his handsome appearance turning grotesque as boils and sores spread across his skin. His lifespan was never meant to last this long, and the fourth decay of heaven and man tribulation had already struck him 4 times. With his talents, he could not have survived it. All of this relied on the armor, but now, after unleashing all its power, his body was no longer shielded by its strength, and it reverted to its true form. In front of him, the massive water sphere began to spin wildly the moment those words left his mouth. As it spun, it compressed and shrank at a visible rate. With each contraction, the pressure within it increased exponentially. If this gigantic water sphere could be refined into a single drop, even if it contained an entire starry sky, it would collapse. This was the power of water, the very essence of water origin. Inside the sphere, Wang Lin observed the surrounding seawater churning violently, waves of water pressure converging from all sides. The rapid compression brought an overwhelming aura of destruction. Wang Lin's eyes flickered as he stared at the surrounding seawater. A strange gleam gradually appeared in his eyes, and there was even a hint of intense excitement. This is the power of the water origin. Wang Lin's excitement grew even stronger. If I want to leave here, it would be easy. Killing that water general would be as simple as flipping my hand, but the opportunity before me is rare. That water general has already harnessed the power of water origin through his armor. This power is now changing right in front of me. If I can comprehend it, my origin won't be the 7 paths, but the 8 paths. This kind of opportunity, as Wang Lin thought, was extremely rare, especially the water origin controlled by the water general's armor. It was not ordinary. It came from the methods of the Unity sect of the immortal firmament continent. Under this method, the water origin formed was a direct manifestation of comprehension reached at its peak. Such an event meant that the water general was exposing everything without any concealment, even more clearly than passing down teachings from master to disciple. An opportunity like this was something Wang Lin could never let slip by. His talent may not be the absolute best, but his ability to comprehend and gain insight was rare. Otherwise, he wouldn't have reached the 7 origins he had today. Moreover, he was not unfamiliar with water origin. Whether it was the early absorption of the heavenly reversal pearl or the drop of origin water given by Tian Yunzi, both had provided Wang Lin with guidance on the grand path of water origin. The excitement in Wang Lin's eyes had reached its peak. He wasted no time, immediately sitting cross-legged within the enormous water sphere that was continuously condensing and shrinking. His eyes gleamed with a strange light as he intently watched every change in the seawater ahead. These changes seemed chaotic, but as blood vessels appeared in his pupils, Wang Lin gradually discerned some patterns. His eyes shimmered with a look of deduction, his excitement driving him to quickly memorize the water origin changes that were so rare to encounter. This was something that, apart from Wang Lin, no one else could possibly know. Even the water general, despite his ferocious expression, was unaware of it. His face, though twisted in anger, was also filled with excitement. He focused on the water sphere, constantly altering the hand seals and marks with his hands. This intensified the origin within the sphere, causing it to shrink faster. Layer after layer of condensation formed, and in just half a stick of incense, the vast sphere shrank to a mere several tens of thousands of feet in size. With every compression, the water and rain inside became more concentrated. In my drop of the universe divine technique, even if your cultivation is sky-high, here in the 5 elements water formation, my divine power is infinitely strengthened. I will refine and compress you into a single drop, and I will make you die. The water general frantically manipulated the seals, his body swaying as he struck the water sphere again and again. Each strike transmitted the origin power from his armor, causing ripples to reverberate through the water sphere and accelerating its shrinkage. This movement nearly made Wang Lin feel grateful. The Water General's actions provided him with a clearer view of the water origin changes, allowing him to see more aspects of the transformation. The tens of thousands of feet-wide water sphere shrank by half in a moment, now only around 20,000 feet in size. The Water General outside the sphere wore an expression of both ferocity and excitement, but his breathing grew heavy, as if his strength was running out. "NATO, assist me." The Water General suddenly looked up and shouted into the sky. At his shout, a vortex appeared in the sky above the water formation, and a burst of 5 elements metal power emerged from it. As the power entered the formation, it spread throughout the water sphere. In the 5 elements, metal generates water. This metal generates water concept had different origins. Some believed it came from the transformation of metal into water, while others believed that after extended exposure, everything made from metal would naturally accumulate water. Regardless of the origin, the ancient sages of the world believed that metal could indeed generate water. And so, as the 5 elements metal power arrived, the water sphere surrounding Wang Lin compressed even further, now accelerating wildly under the influence of this metal power. The excitement in the Water General's eyes turned into a feral grin. "Wang Lin, you're dead." Meanwhile, floating in the starry sky outside the 5 elements star, the grand heavenly venerable Xian Luo watched the scene with a strange look in his eyes. He was unsure how to respond. His gaze was odd, and his expression was a mixture of helplessness and amusement. What is this? This isn't refining him. This is clearly helping him comprehend the water origin. This kid has Dao ancient bloodline and immortal arts. This is extremely rare, especially considering he has 7 origins in his body. This child is extraordinary. That seal origin hidden in his pupils, using the blood vessels to form rules. I've never seen anything like it before. Dual cultivation of Dao and immortal.